Yeah, and welcome to this tutorial. I'm backing it up onto the rubber rectangle and I'm coming down onto the earth because today we are going to look at keep it simple flow. So sometimes, we get so worked up about what our asana practice might look like or how long we need to do our practice for. And that becomes all encompassing and overwhelming, and it's one of the things that can actually deter us from hopping into a practice. And as this course is called Breathe, Bend, Sit and Sustain, we actually want to find and integrate practices that are sustainable for us. So that deterrent might be that, by the time you get ready, pack a suitcase, get your water bottle, jump in the car, find a parking spot, go to the yoga shala, participate in a class that might be an hour and 15, and then reverse that entire practice after you've had a little bit of a chit chat at the end of class, which is all important because the collective creates the community, and that's a beautiful thing about a yoga practice. You can really say adios to about 3 hours as opposed to it just being like 15, a quick practice that you get in and out. And for some of us with really busy lives, we struggle to integrate that sort of practice into our daily routine, particularly if you're adding that into kids, school, a pandemic, your own work, working from home, going to work, whatever your day looks like. What we want to do is weave practices in and out of your life so we can make it sustainable. And as I mentioned, that if we start putting in things that are kind of bigger than Ben-Hur and there's too much process around it, becomes overwhelming and it's simply not sustainable. So the idea of these practices are, we've got a keep it simple flow, an anytime flow, pajama flow, a yin practice, and some of these things are things that we can just fit in and around our busy days. The idea is it's not about how long you practice, it's about finding a comfortable seat and being able to sit in your meditation practice for longer. And that's not to discount that some of our biggest shapes are awesome and feel really amazing when we achieve them, but sometimes for us it's just not sustainable. And even for me, I like to spend 1.5 hours to 2 hours on my mat every day, but say Sundays I give myself a day off and I might just do some breath work and meditation on that day, or Saturday, say this week, things just got away with me in the morning. I went to have a coffee and then all of a sudden other things happened there and I didn't get back to the mat as quickly and enable myself the space to give myself, 1.5 hours worth of practice. So rather than berate myself for not being able to be there or in that practice for that length of time, compassion and kindness, I moved through some moves and some shapes that enabled me to sit and participate in my meditation. So let's get started with our keep it simple flow here today. We're going to come to Sukasana. And we're going to go for roughly about 25 minutes here. So nothing too stressful or too overly challenging today. I promise you, I'm just trying to think if I'm going to promise you there's no crow. There's no crow. We won't crow today. So just bringing the hands onto the knees, and you might like to sit on a block, whatever's comfortable for you. Sitting on a block can be a really nice way as you move into some of the shapes and coming into Sukasana. And you can close down the eyes if that feels nice for you and just rest the hands on the knees. Sit back into the hips and feel the connection of the hips down onto the earth. And you don't need to put on fancy clothes for this either. You can do this in a t-shirt and shorts. You can do it with your kids. Just sit back into the hips and just allow the hands to rest wherever they're comfortable for you, whether that's on the knees or I have my hands in universal mudra, so the fingers and thumbs touching here at the front of the shins. And just acknowledge where the breath is. Perhaps it's up in the high chest, high heart, or maybe you're already drawing that breath into the belly. And we're going to start with a few inhale, exhale breaths, and we're going to breathe in through the nose, and we're going to do a slightly longer exhale through the mouth. So really finding that connection to body and breath first, reining in the busy mind with the breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. 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 Inhale through the nose. 2 more. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Last one. Exhale through the mouth. Let's use the arms, and we're going to inhale the arms up and over the head. Reach the arms high. Reach the fingertips higher. Lengthen through the back body. Lift the gaze slightly towards and beyond your fingertips. Drop the right hand down to the mat. Press the hand into the mat and stretch the left hand up and over. We really want to press this left hip and keep that grounded and connected to the earth. Inhale lengthens through the body. Exhale might allow you to open up and go a little deeper. And try and keep that slow rhythmic breath that we had at the beginning. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift, swap the arms over, and breathing on the other side. And find your own rhythm with the breath, the inhale and exhale. What we want to do is make sure that it's working for you. So finding that inhale and lengthening through the body, and the exhale allowing you to go a little deeper, remembering to press this right hip into the mat, press the left hand, and open up through the ribs. And in between the ribs we have the intercostal muscles, so they need a little bit of a stretch, and that's actually going to help you breathe better. Inhale back to center. Take the hands out in front and walk the hands forward. Drop down onto the elbows. Now if the elbows or the forearms are not available to you, just press the hands into the mat. You want to feel the hands pressing into the mat, rounding through the back body, bringing the chin into the throat. And take a few deep inhale, exhale breaths here. So in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as you exhale through the mouth, feel that surrender. In through the nose. Exhale, surrender. The head might come a little closer to the floor. 2 more rounds of breath. Inhale. Exhale. Gently walk the hands back towards the shins. Take the arms behind the body, interlace the hands behind the back, and if you can't get those hands together behind the back, feel free to grab a t-shirt or a strap or a belt and just start to work the shoulder blades back together. So this is retraction of the shoulder blades. We're squeezing the shoulder blades together. If the hands are squeezing together, try and aim to walk the hands a little way away from the butt. Take an inhale breath and reach the hands towards the floor, even if you're holding a strap or a t-shirt. And just lift the chin away from the chest and gaze to the sky. 2 breaths here. Inhale. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Exhale. 1 more round of breath. Inhale. Squeeze. Exhale. Release the arms. Take the hands, palms, interlace the fingers, and do a little bit of crazy rap dancing here, working into the wrists. And we're going to roll over and come into tabletop. Always a really beautiful place to start practice. The grounded connection of the shins into the earth. Find your neutral space here. Hands like starfish, so spread the fingers out on the mat. Wrists, elbows, shoulders nicely stacked. Belly engaged up to the spine. As we take an inhale breath, we're going to reverse that shape. Drop the belly down and gaze forward. This is cow stretch. As we exhale, a little bend in the elbows is going to enable you to press the hands into the mat, drop the head down, and roll through the back body. Let's do this a couple more times. Inhale, belly down, gaze forward. Exhale, press and roll through the back body, creating a space between the shoulder blades. Drop the head down. Last round, inhale, belly down. And you can gaze up towards the sky. Exhale, press and roll. Tuck the chin into the throat, round through the back body. Plant the right hand into the mat. Lift the left hand towards the sky. Exhale, thread the needle. We're taking that left hand and dropping the shoulder down to the earth. Keep the hips lifted and both shins pressed into the mat. Just take 3 breaths here. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more, inhale, exhale. Press the right hand into the earth. Send the left hand high. Opening up with a little twist. Plant the hand back down on the mat. Let's swap sides. Inhale, up with the right. Exhale, thread the needle. The hand goes underneath that arm. Drop the shoulder into the mat. 3 rounds of breath here. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Out through the mouth. Adjustments if you feel that you need a little bit more pressure. Or opening up into that shoulder. Last round of breath, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Press the hand into the mat and come back to tabletop. From here, we're just going to press the shins into the earth. We're going to engage the belly like we're going to roll into our cat stretch. We're just going to lift the knees up off the floor. So this is activation of the core, and it's a really nice activation. We're engaging into the core just like we will in plank. Dropping back down, and you can take a little wriggle here. You can tuck the toes, stretch into the toes, and this time we're going to lift the knees up again for 4, 3, 2, drop it down. A little bit of cow stretch or a little bit of a wriggle out here. Last round, plant the hands into the earth, come back to neutral, tuck the toes, lift the knees, activate the core. And drop down. Keep the toes tucked. We're just going to walk the hands back to the thighs, and the knees, we're going to walk those back to the toes. So we're just opening up through the feet. Now this is really beautiful for balancing, learning to spread the toes and opening up, giving the toes a little massage, the balls of the feet, stretching in between the toe joints. If this feels really, like when I first did this, I actually was like, I really hate the shape, but now I kind of love it because it's really helped my balancing. If it's really stressing you out though, take a block or a towel and just pop that under your knees. So you're taking some of the pressure off the toes there and out of the arch of the foot. You can even bring the hands to heart center and take a few rounds of breath here. And over time, you will be able to drop the knees back down to the earth. Release the toes. Give them a little bit of a toe tap here. Massage the front of the foot. Hands, palms down to the mat. Tuck the toes, and we're going to lift back up and just take our first downward facing dog for the day. So in this anytime, or keep it simple flow rather, we are not going to do any sun salutations here. This downward facing dog is as close as we'll get to a sun salutation today, but just moving and finding yourself with a little bit of length in the back body and opening up into the hamstrings. So that might mean rising up onto the toes, bending into the knees, lifting the hips, drawing the heels back down to the mat. Just a little bit of movement, anything that feels good. Sometimes we call this walking the dog because we're literally taking our downward facing dog for an imaginary walk. Find a little bit of stillness here. Take an inhale breath. A little lift of that right leg, bend the knee, shift the body weight forward and step that foot between the hands. Drop the back knee down, bring the hands to the to the thigh and drop into this hip opening here in the left hip. If you want to add on a little bit here, take an inhale breath as you reach the arms up and over the head. Try not to back bend, draw the belly in towards the spine and drop a little deeper into this hip stretch. 2 more breaths here. And if you want, you can even engage the blocks to help you balance in this space until you build a little bit of additional strength here. That would be your modification. Bring the hands back through heart center. And we're going to come back into half Hanumanasana. So toe stays tucked, a little adjustment of the front foot, and sink the hips back. Now, I have a block here My half Hanumanasana is quite splitty, so when you're coming back into this shape, if the hands don't quite reach the floor and you feel like you need a little bit of extra support there, don't be afraid to grab the blocks until you build the confidence to step into this shape on your own. Inhale, come forward, plant both hands, tuck the toes at the back, lift that knee into the chest, step it back into plank, and then just press back into down dog. And we're all ready to start on the other side. Nothing too stressful here today. A little lift with that left leg. Bend the knee, roll through into plank. Step the foot between the hands. You're in high lunge. Drop the knee down. Keep the back foot, toes turned under. Hands to the thigh. Make any adjustments that you need in the space. Inhale finds length. Exhale, surrender. Drop into that space. Release the hands. Draw the belly in towards the spine, drop into the hips. You can inhale and up and over. Lift and lengthen through the back body, shoulders over the waist, over the hips. So hands, elbows, shoulders, belly, hips, drop down into that space. Hands through heart center. Plant the hands, and you're going to send the hips back over the heel in your half Hanumanasana. Remember, if you need to find a little support here with the blocks or adjust the hands to make your way down, or you can play no hands and take the full weight of the body into the leg. Yogi's choice, depending where you're at in your practice. Inhale, slide forward, so you're back into this high lunge space. Keep the toes tucked, lift the back knee, step back, and come into your downward facing dog. All we're going to do is drop into the knees. Take a little bit of half moon here. So not a massively uplifted half moon, but a baby half moon. So we're going to extend the back leg back and reach the left arm high. So everything's pretty grounded and connected to the earth right now. Exhale and release. Press back and come into child's pose, and it's an active child's pose. So we reach forward, drop the head. 2 breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, surrender through the mouth. Come back into your tabletop shape. Plant that left hand. Plant the left shin. Find your balance. And take a little bit of opening here, Ardha Chandrasana. It's really baby half moon. So a little bit of opening into the hips. Exhale and release. Drop that knee down and come back into your child's pose. We're going to do a little rolling through the back body and into baby cobra. So start to articulate through the spine as you come forward. Keep the elbows bent. And drop the hips down towards the earth and the shoulders down and back. You can just keep the gaze forward, and the feet can be about hip width apart here. Exhale, press and roll back into child's pose. 2 more times here, rolling through. Exhale, hips to the earth. Inhale, roll it back, and I've got a cramp in my toe, so making an adjustment that's just for me. Inhale, rolling through the back, bend into the elbows. And down, last one, rolling back, pressing back, finding your child's pose. A little gaze forward, lift up here, tuck the toes, separate the feet so they're a little bit funny wide, walk the hands back and come into your Malasana. So I'm just going to face you, and I'm going to work a little bit into my Malasana, just for a little bit of hip opening, nothing too monstrous today. So if Malasana is a little bit of a challenge for you, super nice as you work your hip and ankle mobility is to use the block in this space, and you can even use the wall just until you find your balance. And maybe it's the mobility in the ankle joints that needs a little bit of work. Perhaps it's the opening in that hips, but all of the shapes in this flow today are going to help there. And of course you can adjust the block to your height, whichever is going to suit your practice today. You can even put rolled up socks or towels underneath the heels to find a little bit more accessibility there. We're going to come down from our Malasana and drop down onto the earth. And we did a little bit of core work before. We're just going to find our boat pose, or this is actually half boat. And we're going to tap both toes to the ground. We're going to lift the left leg, drop it down, other leg, drop it down, take it to half, take it to full boat if you want to take it up there, or you can stay in half boat and bring it back down. Let's try that again. One leg lifts, bring it down, other leg lifts, bring it down. Challenge yourself to take both legs up to half, up to full if you want to experience that, back down to half and touch the toes. So we're going to play a little bit differently this time. We're going to come down to low boat. So inhale one, inhale the other. We're going to drop down into low boat and back into half boat. Bring the feet down. Give yourself a little hug here. Pulling the forehead in towards the knees. And release. And we're back to the beginning. One leg up, other leg up. All the way to low boat. Lift it back. Drop it down. Give yourself a hug. One more round here. One leg lifts, other leg lifts. We've got half boat. We're coming down to low boat. We're rowing our boat back up, dropping the toes and wrapping our arms and curling into this, making a very small ball. And in fact, this shape is called Cosmic Egg. And I love that name because it's like the place of infinite possibility. Bring the knees down towards the floor as you find your Bharu Konasana or butterfly pose. So my feet are a little bit, I've got probably about 1.5 foot distance from my groin to my heels, the knife edge of my feet facing down towards the earth. I'm just going to find a little bit of movement in my legs, lengthening through the back body, interlace my hands, but I'm not putting them underneath my feet. I'm putting them around like a little hat for my toes and pressing that knife edge into the earth. A little bit of movement. I'm going to inhale, find some length. Now, I'm going to start to walk my hips a little closer. So just rocking my bum side to side. It's like almost giving myself a butt cheek massage, which feels quite good. Now I'm going to press the knife edge of the feet into the earth as I inhale and lengthen through the back body. As I start to do that, activating the adductor on the inside of the thigh, I'm going to ask my adductor, and it might take a few goes to switch the synapses on to talk to this guy. For me, it took a few years maybe. And we're going to ask that muscle to press the leg down towards the earth. And so if you ask nicely, it might respond. If you yell at it, probably not going to get anywhere. Inhale, lengthen through the back body. As you exhale, ask that muscle to activate and draw the knees down towards the earth. I'm still pressing the knife edge of the feet into the earth. And as that happens, you'll notice that the sit bones start to separate and it gives you a little space and the knees start to drop down a little lower. The human body is amazing, and this is the connection of breath to body. So press the knife edge of the foot in, inhale, lengthen through the back body, open up with the adductor using that muscle and feel the inside, feel the hips opening with the sit bones grounding and connecting down towards the earth. Inhale and release. Extend the legs out in front. Everyone's favourite, my favourite word in fact, Paschimottanasana, one of the most beautiful words in Sanskrit that we will come across. This is a deep forward fold. So you can separate the feet slightly here. Now, if you really struggle to sit in this position, take yourself up to a wall, back it on up so that you can lengthen through the spine and the legs are going to be bent because some of us just can't get the backs of the thighs down to the earth. Perfectly okay, because we're going to work on that. And what we're going to do is, I've got my handy bolster here, that was well organised. I'm just going to let my legs rest here in this space. And I'm going to really feel my back body against the wall, reach my hands to the side of the bolster, inhale and exhale. Now, over time, you're going to be able to reduce that down slightly and start pressing the legs into the earth. It might come to having a block under each leg. Eventually you'll come down and have a rolled up towel, and eventually the legs will come all the way down to the mat. And then you can start working your way forward as you start to gain some length in the back of the hamstrings. So this sort of stuff doesn't happen overnight, but I tell you, even if you're practicing this every day for a week, it's going to make a monumental difference to how you move about in the world and giving your hamstrings some extra love, which is super important. So if you're sitting up in the center here and you still can't flatten the legs to the earth, feel free to use that towel or a bolster, anything that's going to work for you. Perhaps you are already elongated, but you're not in that deep forward fold just yet. Also pretty good. You can start to think about walking the butt backwards a little bit. So you're finding an anterior tilt in the pelvis, meaning your butt is going to the back of the mat. And then you're just going to start to walk the hands forward. So you can shift the weight from side to side, not getting stuck in the space. Inhale finds a little length. And this applies to those of you at the wall as well. When you breathe, inhale, find the length. Exhale, just give in and surrender in this space. So nothing too overly challenging here. Just finding your way, maybe just moving another centimetre today. But the concept of surrender is super important. Almost like the body is a balloon. You inhale, fill it with fresh air. And then as you take that long, deep surrender through the mouth, think about a balloon and releasing the air and how it compacts down, and just allow your body to be that balloon. When you're ready to come out of that stretch and you've taken 5 or 6 breaths, come back and make your way into Sukasana, easy seated pose. I'm going to bring a block behind me. We're going to spend a few minutes in meditation here. Hips above the knees to the best of your ability, or you can do this simply sitting in Sukasana, finding whatever pose or shape works for you. I'm sitting in a half lotus. Full lotus for me is just simply not comfortable for meditation, and I really love having my hips up on this block. This shape works for me. It looks kind of yogi, but is it through traditional pictured yoga shape for meditation? Probably not. But we're not actually interested in what is right for everyone else. We're interested in what is right for us right now. So find a space that's comfortable for you. If that's sitting on a cushion or a bolster, or if it's, butt on the earth, whatever is working for you. Maybe it's you leaning up against a wall with your legs slightly bent and just resting on the hands. Maybe it's sitting in a chair. Wherever you find comfort for a little bit of personal peace is good with me. You might like to touch the fingertips together. This is universal mudra. And we've just got 3 things that we're going to pay attention to here as we move into meditation. We are going to rein in our mind with the breath. So just coming to that inhale, exhale breath. And you might even like to place the hands on the belly and feel the rise and fall of the belly. So as you inhale, drawing breath into the belly, exhale through the mouth, sinking back into the hips. 2 more breaths here. Inhale through the nose. Feel the expansion of the belly. Exhale through the mouth. 1 more breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale. Releasing the hands down. Hearing all the sounds that surround us. The gentle breeze on the body. Acknowledge the presence of everything around you. Yet let go and bring yourself back to the awareness of the breath moving in and out of the body. A gentle tuck of the chin into the throat. Breathing in and out the nose. Almost like this silent, effortless superpower as we find a little personal peace. Anchoring the mind with the breath. Allowing all of those external sounds and distractions to simply be there. Bringing that one point of focus into the journey of the breath in and out of the body. Maybe feeling that energetic movement of the breath moving up and down the spine. Perhaps there's a little gentle recalibration of the body. And if you get distracted, simply come back to the breath and find that inhale, exhale journey of the breath in and out of the body. In through the nose, down the back of the throat, drawing down into the belly with the diaphragm. The expansiveness of the breath moving through the body. If we just focus on those three things, the eventual result is that we will be sitting in stillness and finding our own personal peace. And that, my friends, is the essence of meditation. Allowing the mind respite from its usual general busyness. Bringing the hands to heart center, gentle humble bow of the head. I want you to take a deep inhale breath into the belly. Think of one thing that's brought you a smile to your face or has sparked joy for you today. As you exhale, send that joy out into the world, into the hope that it will connect with someone else and bring a little joy into their lives as well. Bringing the hands to the third eye center, may we always think kind thoughts. Bringing the hands to the lips, that we may always speak words of kindness. And as we bring our hands back to heart center, may those thoughts and words become our actions of kindness to ourselves and each other. Namaste, my yogi friends. Thank you so much for being here with me in this anytime flow today, keep it simple flow today. And I will see you on the next tutorial. Namaste. Ready to go.